Okay. 3, 2, 1.
In my ear, I heard it the exact same time as you, so I think we got it that time. Just saying.
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm good. You?
I'm okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to your favourite podcast.
Still
So
feels just as cringy.
yeah, it's just so cringy, isn't it? Like last time,
Yeah.
the whole beginning when I was listening to it back and editing it, I was just like, oh god, this is awful. And then I got halfway through and I was like, this is great.
Yeah, we definitely got into a flow last time. I think we just need to find the flow.
We need to find the flow again. Once we start, we cannot be stopped. Do you want to start with your little correction if we're still going to go over that?
Yeah, I think maybe just like say it, just
briefly touch on it. I don't care about self-critique or, giving myself any advice, so.
Okay, I'll just say it as just to get it off my chest. But as like sort of a correction from the last episode of the podcast, I had some constructive criticism about the topic on male contraceptives, talking about how like the reasoning behind like it being so difficult to form a male contraceptive that would be taken is because there's quite high side effects of infertility that was found during like drug trials, and also because the actual method of taking the contraception would be too outrageously difficult for people, well, men, to take.
I mean, I think that is not true. I think the most effective, least likely way to make somebody infertile was to like inject them and stuff. But to me, that just means they need to try harder to make a nice little pill for men. That's what I think when I hear that.
I mean, I definitely agree that like there just needs to be a little bit more research done. That like it's been, like you said, it's been like 60 years for like the female contraceptive. I think we just need to give it a bit more time for the male contraceptive.
Yeah, I think like I see you, solution. I hear you, men, but I don't know. They should just like do better. Whatever. That's what I think. There, like I understand it, but I disagree with it.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the sort of Switzerland. I don't feel for men on it, but I understand.
No, like I don't feel sorry for you guys. Like hopefully one day they'll come get you. Okay.
Like mainly because of the suffering that women have to go through with contraceptives as well. Like I feel
like you guys get infertility, I get like a blood clot and a heart attack, like
and blindness. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I understand, but I don't necessarily completely feel for them. But I also see the big side of like to me there just needs to be a bit more research done, and a few, when I say a few, I mean a couple decades of research done into this to find a adequate solution to said problem, since we've had 60 years with the female contraceptive pill.
Also, like, this is, for anyone who wasn't sure by the first episode, this is an opinion podcast. Like, I'm not a medical expert, you know? If you thought I was a medical expert, I'm really sorry. Yeah. You'll have to find another podcast.
Yeah, we definitely do not have the facts and statistics like right on the top of our heads, and we do try our best to be correct, but sometimes we are going to get facts wrong.
I just think it's funny. I don't know what to say. We're just having a chat.
Yeah.
The whole point of this is that we're having a chat the same way you have a chat with anyone you meet in your life. Like, this was born off the back of just like the casual chats I was having with girls at university, like the sort of simple funny TikToks I was seeing, the sort of just the simple conversations me and you were having about things.
Yeah.
You know, we'd be surrounded by a group of boys and me and you would be talking about something just between us.
Yeah.
And like laughing and joking and getting along and agreeing and that sort of thing. And it was for us and not really for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's about having...
And I think that's kind of the point of this. It's not necessarily meant to be like entirely factual, and there is no expertise here.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's about having an informal conversation with a friend about important topics. Like how you just discuss... something like at the pub over a pint, then it doesn't necessarily have to be dead on statistically factual. Obviously, we're going to be reading articles and we might say statistics,
and I think sometimes trying to pretend to be the expert, or like listening and filling yourself with a lot of content that is super factual and is super serious and is super like that, it gets really depressing. I find it's really hard to constantly be bombarded with like deep, formal, statistical kind of information like that. Like, I thrive off of, you know, reading a few articles and having a chat with them, having a chat with somebody about them. Like that, like, I always find that way more like fulfilling and like uplifting than kind of, you know, something that feels a bit more like an essay or a presentation.
It's a more natural flowing debate.
Yeah. And that is, you know, kind of the point. Obviously, it's important to still like have corrections and correct yourself, because if others are listening, you don't really want them to sort of, you know.
And I guess facts are relatively important, but I think with...
I guess facts are important, but I don't know. I prefer to just make stuff up.
Yeah.
It's all fake news.
I feel like we just need to put like a disclaimer at the beginning that's like, this is not fact. Like, I am autistic and sometimes my sarcasm can sound like fact.
Yeah. Oh my god. Or like, I'll make a joke and you'll like read it as fact, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we start with news?
Yes.
Okay, you go first.
Yeah. The COVID one that I have up came to mind because of my own personal experience with my own menstrual cycle. That recently I have had the wonderful opportunity of having my arm jabbed with the Pfizer vaccine, but it's now affected my periods, and this was terrifying, very terrifying, since there was no sort of like, when I was handed like the side effects list, this was not on the side effects list.
No, it wasn't, because I had the same one. I think I had mine like the day after you, or the same day. It was the same day, wasn't it?
I think it was. You just got it like a few hours.
We both went to uni.
A few hours later, yeah.
Because that was the day we were originally meant to record the first episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
Do you hear that, guys? We postponed recording this so that we could go and get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because we're absolute legends.
Yeah, that's just it. This is our time to put out that message to go tell people to get vaccinated.
Yeah, and if you're really scared of needles, like, I'm sorry, just cry the whole time. The people will probably be nice to you, because I cried the whole time and the people were really nice to me.
And it's a very smooth experience as well. They're very lovely people. But the vaccine made me miss an entire period, and I then went to my mother in absolute panic, and we both researched and found the COVID-19 symptom study done by Zoe, which is an app that I would recommend people download so they can report any symptoms of their vaccines.
I thought you were just talking about like a girl named Zoe.
No, it's called Zoe COVID.
She's like the medical equivalent of like Cher and Madonna. She's just got one name.
Yeah.
It's just Zoe.
Yeah, she's that famous.
She's just like the Madonna of doctors.
But yeah, it said that it is apparently 0.5% of all vaccinated women are having symptoms like this, which is a small number, but like it's still, you know, it's still quite a few people, you know, and it'll probably become more and more.
I mean, when millions of people have been vaccinated,
yeah,
that is a big number.
Especially when like more and more people are being vaccinated now with like the younger age groups, that's going to come up more and more with people, because obviously like younger people have menstrual cycles and aren't going through menopause and stuff. So that's something. And I wanted to bring it up because it also affects your PMS. Does something to like the antibodies that are being released or something triggers like the same hormone that's released during PMS.
Whoa.
So you essentially, because I'm not gonna have a period now for like 2 months, 3 months, something like that, I'm just gonna have PMS the whole fucking time. And I already am feeling it, and it's not fun.
That's gonna be a great summer.
Yeah.
I had a weird experience with it because I got it on the first day of my period.
And
then I had like the most excruciatingly painful period the next day. And then my period ended within like 2 days. My periods are normally like between 6 and 8 days, and my period was about 3 or 4 days long.
Yeah.
It was really weird. It was really painful. One of my co-workers who had the exact same thing as me, like had it during her period, had a really, really painful period as well. And that was really, like, I was kind of prepared for that because I knew it was kind of fucking with people's menstruation and stuff. But yeah, it was weird. It was one of the worst, most heavy periods ever.
Yeah.
And I get heavy periods anyway. Ended really quickly. And then I had like some aches and pains from the vaccine in general as well. So I feel like that kind of made it worse. But
yeah,
I don't know if the aches and pains were the vaccine or the bad period caused by the vaccine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just clueless.
In this article, it does say that like it doesn't just stop your period. Like it can do anything from have you make your period start early, like at the wrong point in your cycle, end early, spotting, entirely missed periods, irregular bleeding. You know, like it could literally just completely fuck up your menstrual cycle for like 2 to 3 months, which I feel like should be more reported. Like I feel like that should be something that is put in the side effects list, especially because the reason that this occurs is because vaccines and most medical things like new drugs that are being developed are only generally tested on men because the researchers find the female biology too complex and too difficult because of hormone changes, menstruation. You know, like the female body is entirely biologically different to men. So they just go, actually, nah, that's too difficult. Let's just do it on men.
What have you just said to me? Oh my gosh. We spent the whole of last episode talking about how they used to just be like, women, too complicated. It must just be their uterus running around. For you to come here today and tell me that they're not doing as many tests of these things on women because women are too complex. Are you mad? Oh my god.
And also, another thing.
Just read a bit more then. Do some more research, honey. Then you'll know about me.
Exactly. But another thing that my dad told me, which is quite nice that my dad told me, that one of the things that, like, the outcomes of this, you know, this fucked up thing of only testing it on men rather than women is paracetamol. That it's actually been found in multiple new studies that women like absorb or like process paracetamol, I can't remember the word, 14% faster than men do.
Really?
Yep. So that terrifies me because when I'm on my period, I take like 4 pills every like 4 to 6 hours, 2 of which are paracetamol, and that's just scary. That like I could be technically taking too much dose of paracetamol because I'm a woman.
They need to have like paracetamol that comes in a pink box for us.
Exactly.
Special pink paracetamol for women.
With little sparkles and bows all over it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like a Bic for her. Paracetamol for her, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like in shock that you told me that they just don't test these things on women. I'm also like not really surprised.
I mean, obviously they test like, you know, drugs specifically made for women on women.
Well, but, yeah. Imagine if they tested all of the oral contraceptive pills on men all the time. Like, yeah, it was good. It made him grow little boobies.
But like, I think like universal drugs like paracetamol and things that are meant, like designed to be used by both genders, are generally only tested on men because women have apparently too complex biological
Well, it's the same
systems.
as like, okay, story time. The other day I was super, super anxious and I couldn't sleep. And I was like just a bit achy because I've been a bit achy lately. Just haven't really been getting up and going out and doing very much. So anytime I exert myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so tired, because I like went for a walk. And I had a pain in my like, it wasn't even a pain. I had like pins and needles kind of in a part of my left hand. And I rang my boyfriend at 3 a.m, convinced I was having a really slow, mild heart attack, because I'd been, like, I'd recently found out that when women have heart attacks, it's, like, totally different to when men have heart attacks. And you can have, like, a little bit of chest pain, and you'll have, like, a bit of a tummy ache, and it's often, like, a little bit more mild. I'd been reading something about that. And I was, like, convinced I was having a heart attack, just because, like, my left hand hurt a bit. And I was like, what if I'm having a heart attack and I just don't know because I'm a girl?
That is terrifying. Now
I know.
I'm gonna have that worry.
Like, I'm sure if I was having a heart attack, I would know.
Yeah.
But, like you'd think, wouldn't you? And then I read this article where, like, a doctor, it was an American article, and one good thing they say to do if you think you're experiencing a heart attack, obviously call an ambulance, but they said, like, chew and swallow aspirin.
Yeah.
And so in the article he said, like, a lot of the time women will just chew and swallow an aspirin and just, like, get on with their day, maybe rest a bit and, like, never go to the hospital. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you have a vision of, like, anytime someone's having a heart attack, it's like their heart pumping out of their chest and then them keeling over on the floor.
Yeah.
But as I was reading about it, I was, like, shocked at how mild it can actually be, especially for women, because you might just think it's, like, period cramps.
Yeah, that is
and,
terrifying.
like, a little bit of an achy chest.
Oh my god.
I mean, I think you and I are both very unlikely to have a heart attack.
I mean, with the shit that I eat my diet, I mean...
Oh, girl. Same.
Too many, like, super noodles. There have been days when I've literally had super noodles through.
No, the sheer amount of salt that is in noodles, but I eat them all the time, is so bad. But then I'm like, I'm on what is called the comfort food diet. You know, some people do keto, some people do Atkins or whatever, some people are vegan. I'm on the comfort food diet. It's pizzas and chicken nuggets.
Same. Except, like, the occasional really large bowl of coleslaw.
Oh yeah, because you'll eat a whole bucket of coleslaw.
With a ladle.
And I'll do that, but with mayonnaise.
I mean, I would also do that with mayonnaise, not gonna lie.
Mayonnaise is just so good.
It is.
Like, whenever I eat anything, I'm using it simply as a vessel to get mayonnaise into my mouth.
Yeah, same.
I love it. So where were we after mayo?
I mean, I think we can move on to maybe one of your articles.
Yeah, so my news for today was about the World Health Organization, which I find it really hard to say that, and I don't know why.
I can understand that.
It's the word world, because I'm either like world or I'm like world. The only way to say that is with an American accent to have it sound effective in a sentence.
World Health.
It's because you're saying health.
World Health Organization.
I can't say it. Anyway, the WHO.
Yeah.
The healthy people.
Yep.
They said recently, and were criticised because they suggested that any women of childbearing age should not be drinking alcohol. And they were essentially, like, asking, like, governments and stuff to do more to stop any woman of childbearing age to stop drinking alcohol. The phrase that it says is that there should be a prevention of drinking among pregnant women and women of childbearing age. Like, yeah, obviously there should be a prevention of drinking among pregnant women, like, we know. But why of childbearing age?
That just seems incredibly sexist. And,
like, I get it. It's because it can make you less fertile, or it can make your body less able to carry children and to bear children.
But we're not incubators.
Yeah, exactly. Alcohol also makes men less fertile.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the men that don't want to go on the male pill because it might make them infertile, but they'll drink a lot, won't they? You know? Like, why are the WHO talking about that? It's very weird, because I understand the science of saying that. I'm not stupid. I am a woman, but I'm not stupid. Okay? I understand it. But it's just so bizarre. It's like, what? Yeah, but it affects men's fertility as well. Like women of childbearing age. Is that all I'm here for then?
Yeah,
That's all I'm here for.
It's the assumption that they've made that we are all just the purpose that we have on this planet is just all just to be child incubators and nothing else. We are nothing but that. We are not people. We just make babies for men.
Yeah, and it's their whole thing is a global alcohol action plan from 2022 to 2030. And it is advising people to pay appropriate attention to prevention to the consumption of alcohol in certain groups. And the groups were like children, teenagers, and women of childbearing age. Not men of childbearing age. What?
Yeah, I feel like it just should be everyone should watch how much they drink. It can be dangerous.
Yeah, because it could affect, obviously it can affect men's fertility, but it's also like, it can affect your mental health. You might be a shit dad if you drink too much. If you drink too much, you might not be there for your pregnant partner.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just be pushing that narrative as well. If they dare to say, like, if they, like, have the audacity to be like, no woman of childbearing age should be drinking. But, like, where is that energy for fathers and men?
Yeah. I think it just should be a universal statement that's not saying that everyone should just stop drinking. It should be saying that everyone should obviously watch their alcohol intake and watch their health. And if you think that your health or fertility is declining, then obviously stop drinking. But if you don't want to have kids, feel free, become an alcoholic, do you.
It's also like the whole concept of like childbearing age. Because you often hear like women of childbearing age, but there is no like men of childbearing age.
I think that's because
like because they can always bear children because they don't actually bear children. They just come and that's it. Like they just that's it. It should be like men of like pregnancy inducing age.
Yeah.
Like that is what they should be.
Yeah. I feel like there should be some more equality in that statement.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say like alcohol is fine and it doesn't matter. I just think like it's very strange and it feels like, did they really say that? Like did they really put that on the thing?
Yeah.
Without even considering that maybe they should also include men of childbearing age or young men as well.
Feels a bit uneducated and ignorant.
Yeah.
Especially for a medical sort of based, what are they? Are they a community or like a board or something?
An organisation.
Organisation, yeah, like they're a medical organisation. They should have, some sort of social education and understand that feminism is a thing and not all women want children, and it shouldn't be just a sweeping statement. It should be a generic statement for people, not women.
Yeah. Where we just beat on the WHO as if we were experts and we're not.
I mean, I've got another article on the female soldiers being forced or ordered to march in heels, and also they can in Ukraine, by the way, just for facts.
Okay, is that like recent news?
Yeah, when was it published? 3rd of July. That they were forced to march in little like pump heels, and they can also be ordered to wear like pencil skirts as a dress uniform.
Oh my gosh, because that's really practical, isn't it?
Yeah, like I just find it so weird because like the whole point of military is that like the uniform is to be utilitarian. It's meant to be really practical and useful and like have pockets and tight to the body so it's not like all over the place and camo. Like it's meant to be useful for the situations they're in, and heels and skirts, like what?
Yeah, like are they just meant to be standing around like military secretaries to the men who are actually doing all of the big bad fighting?
Exactly. Like it feels like they're forcing women back into like a secretarial sort of position.
Yeah.
By just forcing them to wear these things. And it's the fact that they can't fight back. They can't be like, actually no,
What is their reasoning? Is there a reason?
I don't think there is a reasoning.
Just that that's what women wear. They said they're not going to scrap the heeled shoes. They're going to give them shoes that has lacing that will better hold the shoes while walking and lower and more comfortable heels.
Just give them normal shoes.
Yeah.
Why do they need to have heels?
Because it's for when they like march and have like ceremonial uniform.
It's still stupid. Like if it's not the same as men's.
Yeah, they're basically saying like it sexualizes female soldiers taking part in the parade, which it 100% does. The high heels exist to make our legs look sexy.
Yeah.
Now I wear high heels and I do feel sexy, but like I just wish I could feel good about myself without it being entirely grounded in what men have deemed attractive.
But not only that, like if you're in a situation like military, you need to be dressed in a way that is practical. That's the whole point of the military uniform.
Yeah. It just so doesn't go when you see the picture of them.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this right now, get your phone or get the nearest computer and Google it. Ukraine soldiers high heels. It is bizarre.
The picture is astounding. It is.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's just like, what on earth am I seeing here? Their foot is out.
One wrong move, one wrong kick, one wrong step, and like that whole shoe is flying across that field.
Imagine going and joining the military and training really hard to be a woman in the military, and then you come to do your first march, your first ceremonial march, and they slap you in a pair of high heels. It's just the most demeaning thing ever. We don't care how good you are at that thing. Put on your little high heels, woman.
Yeah. But it's also like, it's not just the heels though. They can also be forced to, like, ordered by higher up people in the military to wear pencil skirts.
Yeah, imagine the chub rub on that.
Yeah.
Like, my thighs would be killing.
Have you seen the one of them in little white pencil skirts? They are literally wearing like little tiny air hostess heels. Some of them don't even have little backs.
Yeah, that's the picture I was just looking at, the one you've seen. They're wearing like a little, like, kind of grey hat that matches a blazer, a really, really short pencil skirt, and then like stiletto pumps.
And some of the pumps don't even have backs, and they're like little strappy heels.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, that cannot be real. Like, somebody's posted that claiming that it's the Ukrainian army, but it's just air hostesses. Surely.
I don't think so. I think it is actually.
I just don't even want to believe that that is real. Do you want to discuss some ways in which the topic for today, by the way, now that our news segment is over,
yes,
we'll be talking about ways in which the world is completely designed for men and by men.
Should I go with a funny one first?
Yeah, I gotta go with a funny one.
Okay, because I feel like we've had this conversation before, but
yeah,
when I
probably
brought up,
I think we've definitely had this exact topic. We've talked about this before anyway.
Yeah, but this first thing came to mind when I realised that every single time I have ever sat on a toilet, right, my little legs are on my little tiptoes while I'm sat on the loo, and my legs start to like shake because I can't like hold my legs in that position. Otherwise, like, I can't do anything on the loo. It is completely redundant. And I have decided that toilets are made not for women, but for tall men who have the natural acute angle when they sit on the toilet rather than an obtuse angle of their body. And it's sexist.
Yeah, 100%. My mum works with nurses, right? So they have a very like open environment discussing things like poo and needing the toilet and going for a poo and stuff. And I went home in like May to stay with my parents.
Yeah.
And my mum literally had this stuck on the fridge by a magnet. It was a little like comic of like how to poo. And it was like going right up on your tippy toes, leaning your elbows to your knees, and then like straightening your back up and like sitting up really straight.
Yeah, because it opens your sphincter.
But every time I try and do that, my toes will be giving way.
Yeah.
Because I can't get in the right formation. I need like a step for my feet. They make them, I think they have like squatty potty things.
They do.
Where you can like rest your feet on them. But like if I don't have like something to rest my feet on, I just can't do it.
Same.
Like my knees start to shake.
Yeah.
I'm trembling there. I'm already in a situation in which I've just got the sweats because I can't poo.
Same.
And then I've got the trembles. That comes back to our diet, Freya. I think maybe we'd be able to poo if we ate vegetables.
Maybe. Oh my god. But like I know exactly what you mean. Like my legs start like vibrating with like the pain and my toes start hurting and like I don't have like a Scotty potty or anything at my house. What I do is that we have a little like a waste bin in my bathroom.
Yeah.
And I just put it under my feet. And it's the
you
only
just put
thing.
Your little feet on your little wastebasket to poo.
Yeah.
I'm also lactose intolerant, so I'm either 100% entirely bunged up, or I am like liquid shits. So I never have a good experience when I poo.
Same.
I should point out that happens not just because I'm lactose intolerant, but because, like every lactose intolerant person, I eat more cheese than people who are tolerant to lactose.
That is true. I think every single lactose intolerant person I've met, they will go through the pain because I want so much lactose.
Yeah. I think the toilet thing, you could probably argue that, well, no, it's just that you guys happen to be a bit too small. You know, there are a lot of tall women who can probably poo just fine. And to them I would say, yeah, but it happens because men are tall.
Yeah.
Most of the time, actually.
I mean, the only argument I've had against it was from my mum, saying that sometimes toilets are made that way for the elderly, that toilets will be made that height for the elderly so they can still stand up, which I understand, but at the same time I feel like they're in a minority compared to half the population being women.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these things, like, you can always say, but there are a lot of women who don't have this issue, or there are a lot of tall women though. It's like, well, okay, I hear you, I get it, but it happens to be that it is great for tall women, but it's only great for them because it's built that way, because it is men who are the ones that it's based on.
Well, I mean, I remember a friend saying to me when I mentioned this topic to them, that apparently the toilet, when it was first like properly designed, was based off the ideal fantasy man, and that was based off like a 6'5" man from like a detective novel.
No way. They built, of all the things in the world they could base on the ideal human, it was the toilet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just there was a lot of other things, but one of the things was the toilet. But what I find funny about it is the ideal man was like a 6'5" like detective dude from like a novel in like the Victorian era.
What on earth?
I don't know. I might be wrong on that, by the way. Again, fact check me.
You might be wrong,
but
I don't know.
Someone told me
I
that.
feel like everything is just built for the ideal man. So I'm sure Thomas Crapper, inventor of the toilet, was not free from the male gaze.
Probably.
Yeah. So either we've admitted that we just can't poo very well and we need to change our diet, or that toilets are made for men.
I think it's the toilets are made for men.
Although they do take a very long time to use the toilet, so maybe it's not.
That's just a man thing, that they just enjoy the process or something.
They just enjoy sitting there with their poopy arse, scrolling through their phone.
I think so.
Gross. Okay. Do you want me to do one next?
Yes.
The one I have that I honestly find quite funny. It's a serious thing, and it could literally result in death. But it's hilarious. But I find the idea behind it kind of sad, but like, well, obviously. Because, you know, like CPR mannequins?
Yeah.
Like, quite often CPR mannequins are made with no breasts. They're made to represent like a man's chest.
Yeah.
So when you learn CPR, I don't know if you've ever like done first aid or like learned CPR with a CPR dummy.
I know like a vague first aid, but not serious first aid.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to do it in school. Like practice doing the mouth to mouth and like practice the like compressions on the chest. And it was a male dummy, like they all were. And they've started making these things that like are like jumpers that go on them that have tits. So that you can practice what it would be like to do it on someone with boobs.
They made tit jumpers.
They did. They're like padded like sleeves that go on the mannequins that have boobs, but it's just so funny.
Send me a picture of the tit jumper.
It's like a padded sleeve.
Oh my god. Oh.
Like they are, and it is the picture, which we can put on the Instagram when we post this episode,
yeah,
so that people have something to sort of like look back to when we're having these conversations. The picture is like, I don't think I've ever seen a woman with boobs like that.
Yeah.
For a start, like the placement of them is like, what?
Mine don't look like that.
Yours look like that?
No, mine don't look like that.
Okay, I was going to say, have I just deeply insulted you and why your tits so weird? But like, they're taking up like so much space, but they have no hang. It's just like a very vague cup.
Yeah. That's not how a boob hangs.
And obviously, you know, the issue is that people practice CPR on male dummies, so they have absolutely no concept of how to do CPR on somebody with breasts. But then also, like you'd be scared to do it because, like, I don't want to touch her boobs. I don't want to touch their boobs, so I don't want to do the compressions because what if I touch their boob? People can't overlook the fact they'd be touching a boob to save someone's life.
I feel like it would depend what situation I'm in. Like, if I saw that they were like really dying and struggling or something, and I was like, I was the only person who could help them, I feel like I could get over it. But like, there would probably still be a part of my brain be like, I'm touching a boob right now. This feels wrong.
Yeah, it would feel wrong. But the whole concept of having the sort of tit padding that they add on, which is almost like, just again does not accurately represent it. And I know you could say that about the male mannequin dummies because they're quite often of a slim built man, and that might be harder as well.
But I feel like if you've got like some proper boobs on you, that's gonna be very different to a man with bigger chest.
I keep going to say moobs, like man boobs.
Moobs, yeah.
Have I just made that up? Or
no, moobs is a thing.
Okay, I was like, am I making it up? Because then I saw a picture of a cow in the related articles of what I'm looking at, and I was like, moobs. But yeah, I think what they've said on the article I read was that like the people who've made that like padded thing, they basically said that like touching breasts is taboo, and so like even though more people are CPR trained, you only learn from male torsos. So it is great that like people are doing that and getting more comfortable with the idea that they might touch somebody's breast to, you know, give them CPR.
Yeah.
But like, I often look at my own chest and I'm like, I don't even know where you would do it on me.
I mean,
I'd have to be like, you'd have to like spread my tits out. Like this, because I have very big boobs. So like when I lay flat on my back without a bra on, my boobs go like into my armpits.
Yeah.
Like to give me CPR properly, you'd have to remove my bra first. Because you'd just be like squishing my boob the whole time.
I think you'd have to remove your bra for any CPR for boobs. If you've got like a substantial set, you know, you probably have to remove the bra. Or at least like pull the bra up or like away. You don't have to fully remove it, like pull it down or something.
They'd be undressing me.
Yeah, but
for the record, if I'm ever in need of CPR, with all my clothes off, I don't care who sees me naked in that scenario, just save my life instead.
Same.
Yeah, at least the same as like the other day when I thought I was having a heart attack. I was like trying to feel my heartbeat in my chest and I just couldn't because it was all just boob.
Yeah, even I have that. Yeah, like I can't feel my heartbeat now and I'm not even wearing a bra.
Like, if you put your ear to my tit, you'd be able to hear it, but I could not feel it.
Yeah, it's too much tissue there.
Oh, actually, I'm feeling it right now. Oh, that's kind of creepy. Like, I actually have a heart in me.
I find that so weird as well.
I have organs in my body. There's a skeleton in there too.
Yeah, I find that so weird as well. Like, there's sometimes I'll just sit down and be like, oh my god, there are organs inside of me. That includes like a heart.
Isn't it? Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. My intestine can't digest the milk. It can't digest the lactose. And I'm like, I have intestines.
I'm the exact same.
So yeah, that's one. CPR mannequins are pretty much all men until this company created the boob jumper. They're called womanikin. Oh, that's clever. It's woman, IKIN. So I read it as womanikin, but it's womanikin.
Oh, that is clever. Should I move on to the next topic?
Yeah, do you want to do your next one?
Okay, back onto the toilet subject. Obviously, I have a running theme
Why are
here.
you so obsessed with poo-poo, Freya?
I don't know. Don't shame me. But it's kind of an article, but it is written by The Guardian. But it's this new designed urinal for women.
I don't like the sound of it.
That will apparently like shorten the queues for ladies' toilets, because apparently research shows in the UK spending 34 times longer queuing for public loos than men do.
So just make more women's toilets.
And personally, my solution to that issue is just the fact that there are too many men's toilets in ratio to women's toilets, because women have to go into cubicles, remove their trousers, sit down, pee, put their trousers back on, go out, wash their hands. Like, it's a lot of a longer process. You don't just whip out a hose, you know? So men just need to have a couple less square feet of their toilets that is added onto the females' toilets, meaning that the time and ratio is the same for men and women, because men and women have different needs, you know? That would be my solution.
To me, I don't think that men's urinals should even exist. Any man I talk to, or any boy I talk to about urinals, they don't like the fact that they're just whipping their dick out in front of other people. My boyfriend doesn't like them and never uses them. My dad doesn't like them, and I don't think he ever uses them either. They'll go into a cubicle instead.
Yeah.
Because it is gross and it splashes everywhere.
It is a bit weird. But the urinal that was made for women is basically like this little circular sort of building.
I have the image here, but continue to describe it for anyone listening.
Yeah, it's like a circular can I speak? Circular building with little toilets in three different sections. Like, there's 6 toilets in 3 different sections. And I don't know what, you can't really tell in that picture, but like you'd essentially be able to see people's faces while they squatted over these bowls. So if you walk in, you could potentially just see someone just pissing. And I just find there's something about that I will never understand with male urinals, and I will never understand with this urinal how anyone could ever be comfortable making eye contact with someone while you piss. No, wrong.
So weird.
Fundamentally weird.
Also, like, the whole purpose of a urinal, it makes sense why they invented them. They thought, oh, well, we'll have the normal toilet for when we need to poo, because we can stand and pee because we have, penises. So we don't necessarily inherently need to sit down to pee. We only need to sit down to poo, right? But when, as a woman, and I know I'm not the only woman who experiences this, sometimes I go to the toilet needing a bit of a wee. As soon as I've sat down, my body's like, it's poo-poo time, girly. Right? Do you have that, or do you always know when you need a poo?
Yeah. It's like every time I poop, I pee. But not every time I pee, I poop.
100%. But sometimes you get a surprise poo. You sit down, you're like, whoa, something's going on down there. So if I went into that little squatty urinal, I might start squatting for a wee, and then suddenly, before I know it, oh my gosh, it's poo-poo time. And also they're like on the ground, so like you would squat over them. Which, obviously, there are like squatting toilets in a lot of non-Western countries. But to me, I feel like that is not something Western culture can handle.
It's definitely not something I can handle.
That's not something that Western people are not ready for that.
No.
They're not ready for squatting toilets.
And also, it's a bit weird that the sinks are on the outside of the building, because I've always thought that in normal toilets that there's some kind of safety with the sinks being in the same room, that you can collect yourself, you're still away from people, you're still relatively in a private environment.
Yeah.
That you're not out in public again, and especially if like you're using the toilet as like an escape from like a really bad Tinder date or something, you know.
Yeah.
Like
it doesn't feel like you want some respite,
yeah.
I think, when you go to the toilet. And that's why it's not necessarily an issue that like they are squatting toilets. Because there are plenty of countries in the world, like, but I know for sure that they have them in China because my school used to do like exchanges to Asia.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that students said about China was that like all the toilets were on the floor and they were like really weirded out by it. And like that wouldn't be an issue for me, but it's the fact that they don't have proper cubicle doors.
Yeah, that someone could
because
just
if
walk
you
in.
go to the toilet because you just need a moment alone, whether it is to pee or poo, whether it's because you're anxious, whether it's because you need, a moment away from a creepy guy on a date, like you've just said, it's like, well, I don't really want to go and squat with an open hole.
Yeah,
I want to close the door and lock it.
and how would you know that that the toilet? As you know, because you'd actually see them peeing. That's weird. That instead of having like a door that just says occupied or not occupied, you just would see their face. You would see them pissing, and I just
see that they're there.
That's just so wrong to me.
Yeah, I think have you ever been to America?
No,
I've been to America. Just saying, I've literally been to America. I'm so well travelled. I've been to America and I found their toilets, like their public toilets, awful. American toilets are like, the doors are incredibly high and low.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're really... And, like, the gaps between the doors in a lot of the stalls that I went to, you can see through them. Like, you could make eye contact with someone while you're on the toilet.
Yeah, that's
because
so
the
weird.
gap is, like, a couple of inches.
Yeah, that's so odd.
It's horrible.
Like, I understand because it's like some people would harm themselves in toilets and it's to stop people from locking themselves in. They could just go out, crawl under. Like, I understand that, but it shouldn't be like you could literally see in.
Yeah, it's weird.
Very weird.
I get the not, like the crawling under thing. Actually, now that you mention it. But it's still just weird.
Very weird.
Maybe we're just so British. We can't even understand the concept that, like, sometimes you just got to get in and get out. If you don't want to see people pooing, don't look at them.
Yeah, I feel like there still should be an element of privacy if you want it.
Also, actually, coming back to the main thing, privacy aside entirely, because that's definitely a cultural thing. Like, the point of it is that it's meant to make it quicker.
Yeah.
Women in the UK spend 34 times longer queuing for public loos than men do. 2 young designers think they have the solution. How is this going to be any quicker?
Yeah, because if you're squatting over it and you're wearing trousers, you're just going to piss down your leg.
Yeah.
You'd have to literally remove
you still
your
need
whole
the time
trousers.
to wipe. You still need the time to sort yourself out. It's not going to be any quicker at all unless you're wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
But even then, you've got to pull your knickers down.
Yeah.
This is not going to solve any speed problem at all.
No, not at all.
The issue is if women are spending more time queuing for public loos than men do, make more unisex toilets, make more women's toilets.
Yeah.
There's a statistic here that says on average there are 10 male urinals for every ladies' toilet.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean like, okay, create a women's urinal.
Just means make more toilets for women.
Build more ladies' toilets.
Yeah.
Like, take up more space. Like, women should just take up more space then, in regards to toilets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the verdict on that one is just build more women's toilets, though.
Yep, I agree completely.
Yeah. Shall I do my next one?
Yes.
And it is air conditioning. Because the standard... So this is an American statistic, right? But the formula for standard US office temperatures was developed in the 1960s, based on the metabolic rate of an average 40-year-old man weighing 154 pounds. So, air conditioning units and the temperature that air conditioning should be is based on a 40-year-old man weighing 70 kilograms from the 1960s. But women tend to be naturally, our average bodily temperature is colder than men.
Yeah, my mum also like told me about this, and her point about it was the fact that like the reason it's an issue is because normally in a lot of office environments, the boss is the person who will control the temperature of the air conditioning, and normally those are male CEOs or male bosses, or they're normally men, it's statistically, meaning that a lot of the time that the environment is set to men's standards and it makes women suffer. And the only times that that would be like beneficial to women is if they're like menopausal and whatnot. But generally, a lot of women in office environments are younger women, so it just means that they're just very shivery and cold all the time because of men and their ability to run warm.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what the solution for that would be. Like, I just.
Yeah, like the men are just going to then be too hot. But to me, otherwise you end up sitting in an office wearing like 10 layers just to be warm. And that's not comfortable either.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a middle ground.
It makes sense to me to have the air conditioning less cold. If you happen to be then a bit too hot, you can have a fan. You can have a personal fan that won't blow on anyone else.
Yeah, that's true. Or you could just have like the air condition set in like a middle ground where it's not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah.
In between.
But then I also think the little part of me is like, fuck him. Let's just have him be a bit too hot. Who cares? It's time to give power back to us, okay?
Yeah.
Like, if this is how I'm going to get back at them, let it be the air conditioning. They can't really complain about that, surely.
Like, just the air conditioning, like nothing else.
Like, okay, don't worry about the male pill, guys. Just put the air conditioning down a bit.
Yeah, like this is our revenge for years and years of systemic sexism.
Like, I'll take the pill. It's fine. Just make it a bit less cold in here.
Like, you be a bit sweaty.
Yeah.
Like, just to make up for everything.
Yeah, I feel like that's a small price to pay.
Yep.
Personally. But yeah, that's a small one. Like, that's not a life or death one.
Yeah.
Did you have another one?
I do. It's probably on the same article that you also probably have open about the deadly truth about the world, built for men. Car crash test dummies. And
yeah, that was on my list. That was on my BBC list as well.
Because people like numbers and statistics and facts, I shall read some. Men are more likely than women to be involved in a car crash, which means they dominate the numbers of those seriously injured in them. But when a woman...
Because women can't drive.
When a woman is involved in a car crash, she is 47% more likely to be seriously injured, 71% more likely to be moderately injured, and 17% more likely to die than men. And a side note on this is that I saw a TikTok about women and breasts and seatbelts, and the fact that you should always wear your seatbelt below your boobs, because a seatbelt can, because when a car crashes, your body is still moving at the same speed the car was driving at. So say you're driving at 55 miles per hour, your body then shoots forward at 55 miles per hour. And if the seatbelt is on top of your boob, it can slide into your neck and hit an artery at 55 miles per hour, and you're dead just because you have boobs.
Oh my God.
Like,
but then if I put it right, hear me out. If I put it under my boobs, it will just cut my stomach in half, because the underneath of my boobs, logically, comfortably, is just my stomach, because my boobs are so big. Like, I'd have to literally tuck it under.
I think it's the angle of like the slice of the seatbelt, and also...
Oh yeah, because it'll slide up, won't it? And then like the thin side is just gonna... Oh my God, imagine if that decapitated you.
It would literally slice into your neck and like hit an artery. And also you're more likely to survive like a stomach injury than you are an artery injury. So
yeah, I mean, maybe unless you can survive,
but I think
when your throat's been slit.
I think it's just mad that like just because you have boobs, you are more likely to have an artery sliced in your neck.
Yeah,
Like, that's terrifying.
Crazy. Like, we almost need, like, harnesses.
Yeah.
Not seatbelts.
Like, you know, those harnesses that you have in sports cars?
Yeah.
I think we need those.
Yeah. My brain was picturing a BDSM harness. But, like, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's so scary. Because, like, obviously, the car crash dummy thing as well. It's so crazy to me that, like, they only have recently started testing them on female dummies.
But even then, it's said in the article that they're not actually female dummies, they're just male dummies that have been shrunk down to the size of a large child. So they don't actually
Really?
they don't actually have
Oh, I didn't realise
yeah,
that.
they don't actually have any female features. Like, they don't have the female weight distribution, the female center of gravity. They don't have anything female about them. No boobs or nothing.
my
It's just a big
gosh.
child. Like, that's just fucked up. Like, they were way too lazy to make a female dummy. So they're like, you know what we can
Yeah.
do? Just make a big child, because that's what women are.
So women are more likely to literally, like, this is the thing, like, you know, if you said to me, pick one, do you want cars to be safe or do you want air conditioning to be slightly warmer? I would pick the cars.
Yeah.
But these are just prime examples of, like, because these careers and, like, because most careers and, like, you know, managers and CEOs are all men, decisions like this are made by men, so they're only made according to, you know, the average person, which always happens to be a man.
Yeah.
And, like, that will cause women to die when it's preventable death. It's like death by misogyny, you know?
What's also scary about it is that, like, at the beginning of this part that I'm reading, it says that men are more likely to be involved in car crashes than women, essentially meaning that if I get in a car that's being driven by a man, an accident is statistically more likely to happen, but I, as a woman, am just more likely to die, which is terrifying. That I am more safe to get in a car with a woman driving than I am with a man, because
it's just not safe for you at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have one more that's, like, slightly less life or death, more of an inconvenience, which is phones.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the sizes of phones.
That was on my list.
And how it's very hard to use your phone in the same way that a man would. And I know you can just get a smaller phone, get a different phone. Don't buy such a big phone. Oh, it's not a big deal. But it's like, it's annoying. It's inconvenient for me as a woman.
But
phones are getting bigger. Like, phone designs are getting bigger and bigger. And my tiny little fragile woman hands can't use them.
Exactly. Yeah. And the only argument I've ever heard against this is that, like, the actual engineering of a phone is quite difficult to make small, but you would not need to make it that much smaller. Like, to like, just bring it back down to, like, the iPhone 5S. I could hold that comfortably. Like, I've got an iPhone 11 now, and when I hold it, I can't touch the other side of the screen with my thumb. Like, but men can, because they have bigger thumbs than I do. It just doesn't make sense. But, like, I do know that there are available, like, there's the iPhone 12 mini that's now come out. And I do know that it's possible to make smaller phones, but I just don't see why they just don't do it. Like, why do we need it to be that big? It's just unusable at that point, at certain points.
Unless you have big, giant Wreck-It Ralph man hands.
Yeah. Same with the video game controllers as well, like the Xbox controllers.
Yeah, the video. I'm a PlayStation player.
Same.
Solely because I can't even hold an Xbox controller. I find that with the Switch Pro controllers as well, though. They're huge.
Yeah.
Like, PlayStation controllers are perfect for my fragile little woman hands. But, like, Xbox controllers, they're just huge and clunky and horrible.
Yeah, like
it hurts my hands to play on an Xbox.
My boyfriend plays Xbox, and there'll be times that he's handed me a Xbox controller, and it's literally just been this massive object in my tiny little baby hands. But the PS4 controller that I have, it's so, like, it fits in your hand perfectly, but also it could probably fit in the hand of a man perfectly as well. Like, why do they need to be that big? They don't. Or at least there just should be options of size that, like, that there should be different inch widths of.
Yeah, imagine if they made a medium and large controller.
Exactly. That's like such a simple solution.
That would be amazing.
It would be so easy to fix with that. Like, why don't they just do that?
Yeah, but the medium one would only come in pink.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because it's for a stupid little pink woman.
Oh my god. It probably would as well, though. That's the sad thing.
Yeah, I know. So funny.
I do have one more kind of small thing that I've found on my little list about the depths of pockets in women's clothing.
Oh, don't even go there. I got a pair of jeans, right? And I ordered them a bit too big for me because I was worried they'd be too small. Because if something's too big for you, you can just like wear a belt or have it be baggy. It's fine. And it was one of those things where like it's made quite cheap. It instead of like making it was just like sized up rather than being like fitted. Yeah. So the pockets are huge because the jeans are really big. Right. So I could fit a bottle of water in my pocket when I was at work today.
Oh my god.
I was so happy.
All jeans on women should be like that. Oh my god.
Yeah. Because men's jeans, I've literally witnessed like ex-boyfriends and stuff put a bottle of Coke in their pocket and like you can't even see the lid sticking out. And I was like, what the hell?
I remember one guy who I knew, he was able to fit his big like XS like I think it was like one of the big versions of iPhones in his pocket, like his keys, his massive like really big thick wet like leather wallet, his like his AirPod case, like some other weird. I think he also kept like because he was like he was in sort of like construction. He could fit like tools in there. It was literally like everything he could possibly need were just in his jeans, and he didn't even need to leave the house with like a bag.
Yeah, bags are misogynistic. Women don't have pockets so that they can sell us bags.
Exactly. It's the reason I own so many bags.
Oh, I'm obsessed with bags. I'm such a girl. I'm such a woman. I love bags and shoes.
Same.
But, I do own a considerable amount of bags because the thing with bags is that like they have to go with the outfit. It's a whole other thing. I wouldn't have to worry about it if I had pockets.
Exactly.
But like wearing those jeans I got today that I was wearing earlier today, they are bright pink baggy jeans with white hearts all over them. So I'm just saying, who needs a bag when you've got that?
Exactly.
So are there any more things to quickly touch on, I think, before this episode draws to a close? A slightly more serious one today, because we were actually talking about real risks of women rather than historic stupidity like we were last time. Maybe next episode we'll have to pick something really absurdly hilarious to kind of level it out a bit more.
Yeah, have someone on, like invite a guest on that's got some funny topics. But like, I feel like we had a few laughs in this episode. Yeah, still.
I think we did. But when you're talking about the fact that your arteries might get sliced because you can't wear your seatbelt properly, it starts to dawn on you a bit. Like, it's one thing to not want to make eye contact with someone while you're shitting. It's another thing to potentially die by seatbelt.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's it for now then. Anyway, bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
So awkward.